Hello, everybody. I just want to do a really short one for you here about the differences between equality, equity, and social justice. It really is not going to be a long one. I just wanted to do something that would make it really clear for you what the distinctions are. So let's just jump in. So, um, when we think about the ranking of these terms and what it is that we want in an ideal world, I would encourage you to think of it as a set of stairs. And equality is the bottom set of the stairs. And then as you work your way up, you get to social justice. Okay, oops, sorry. Okay, so let's start with equality, okay? So if we look at these horses in the starting gate, it looks like they are equal, okay? It looks like they are all starting from the same position, and in theory, this is equal. Here's the problem. Um, the horses all have different characteristics, right? And they did not just end up in that starting gate without any histories. And the jockeys on them are not all the same jockeys. And it turns out that even the positions that they are in the gate are not equal. The experience of the horse, the smaller horse in the number 3 slot, being between the two larger horses in the number 4 and the number 2 slot is going to be very different from, the larger horse and on the end slot in number 6. And so, even when you think you have equal treatment, it is almost never equal anyway, right? There's almost always going to be inequalities anyhow. So we don't ever really have the same chances and opportunities, even when people say, well, your options are all the same. Everybody has the same choices and options. And the issue with that is that we're not all the same, right? So our opportunity for success is not going to be the same, even if we have the same, access to, the same teachers that everybody else has. So, for example, I have a nephew who has a severe disability, and he is not capable of accessing the type of education that his sister is capable of accessing. He's not verbal. He doesn't process language the same way. And yeah, they have access to the same teachers, they have access to the same schools, but their ability to gain anything from that access differs because they're different. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about equity. Okay. So racetracks are ovals. Okay. And if you think about the same picture, right? So if you think about having an outside post position, so in your head, picture an oval, and on the outside of the oval, you have the horse in the number 6 position or whatever. And um, you know, they have a disadvantage when they're on the outside post position, even though they're starting from the same place as the other horses. And why is that? Right? If you've ever tried to pass somebody on the outside of a curve, you know why that is. It's because the outside of a curve is a longer distance to travel than the inside of a curve. It's more strides for the horse. It's more, gas for your engine to overtake, the car or the horse or whatever that has the shorter distance to go. So, all right. So this plays into the equality conversation that we just had. They're all starting from the same place, but the second they leave the starting gate, things are no longer equal. Okay. Well, for horses and in horse races, it's kind of a, too bad kind of situation. The idea is that post positions are drawn by lottery, and sometimes you're going to get a good one, and sometimes you're going to get a bad one, and it's all going to come out in the wash. We don't do it that way for human beings, right? So for people, we do this, right? If you've ever seen a track meet or been involved in a track race or anything like that, you will have seen something like this. As long as the race has a curve in it, you're going to see something like this. And the reason why that they do this is because it makes the distance traveled by the runners the same, right? So yeah, they start off in different positions, but they end up having run the same distance, okay? So equity is the idea that we're removing barriers, right? That we're making it, well, not that we're removing barriers, but that we're changing the circumstances so that we can kind of get over the barriers, right? The people in the inside post position move back, the people in the outside post position move forward, so that they have kind of the same shot. Okay? So equity is kind of that classic image that we remember all seeing at some point or another of the two people standing in front of a fence, right? I think I have that on the next slide. Nope. I'm going to explain it here, right? So the in equity, right, we have the different size stools that they're standing on so that they can all see over the fence, right? And in equality, right, they all have kind of the same stool, and the short little guy can't see over the fence, right? So the difference between equity, right, and social justice is that in social justice, this fence doesn't exist at all. Okay? In social justice, we have taken our building of stools so that everybody can see over the barrier the same and remove the barrier completely. So instead of figuring out ways to make it so that everybody can, navigate the same unequal, inequitable system, fairly, we're making the system itself more fair. Okay? So there are a million analogies that you can come up with for this one, but the idea is that when we pursue social justice, the idea is that we are making a system free of systems themselves that are racist or discriminatory in ways that can disadvantage people. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, how do we do that? Well, yeah, that's the problem, right? Is that we have a society that has these structures built into them so thoroughly that it is hard for us to even picture what that might even look like. So I'm not going to try to give you idealistic examples of what it would be like to pull that fence down. I think that is going to look different depending on the conversation that you're having about what topic. But understand that the difference between equality, equity, and social justice is really about your relationship to that fence and your relationship to the other people in with regard to that fence. And it's worth noting that when you think about social justice, it kind of doesn't actually matter whether you are, the short little light blue guy or the middle light blue guy or the super tall dark blue guy. It doesn't really matter because there's no fence there at all. So you can kind of have the same access regardless of what your personal characteristics are. Okay? And I did skip a slide here and I'm going to go back. So the system really doesn't promote equity well, right? we can do that. And again, you know, equity is not the goal, social justice is the goal. But we are struggling enough in today's society with finding equity, much less finding social justice. So we have to get through this stage before we can go forward into pursuing social justice in any given area. And these are just some ways that you can do that and you can advocate for equity. And this is why the cluster is called is uses the term equity and social justice. It does not use equality. It does not use inequality. Equity is the achievable goal for now, but the long term goal is social justice. Okay, so that is my super, super short one about those definitions. And if you have any questions at all, please do let me know.